Hello and welcome. In today's workout, I'm taking you through variations of the clam exercise, which is fantastic to activate your glute medius, which a lot of us don't really have connection with. So all of these variations I'll be showing you will help add that connection to that muscle. All right, you guys, let's go ahead and begin. You will perform 10 reps for each of these exercises. Let's begin in a side lying position. Support your head, hips are stacked, knees are slightly forward with the heels behind our hips. This is the traditional clam exercise. From here, I want you to feel by lifting the top knee, activation at the side of your hip. So right here on my left side, I feel the squeeze at the top and I lower back down. Now the key to this exercise is not to over-rotate our hips. It's common when people perform this exercise that they let their hips rock all over the place. I want you to try to isolate at the top every time you lift that knee, squeeze and lower back down. Next, we're performing a clam raise. So I want to just take the top leg up completely, bringing the ankle with me, and notice I get more hip rotation as I lift up. I'm still keeping my hips stacked. I'm still focusing on that squeeze at the top of each rep. Now the same form cues apply here, even though we have a bigger range of motion. We're still squeezing at the top and not rotating our hips, focusing on keeping that top leg in that same bent knee position. Now we're just going to build on this and create more rotation within this side lying position. For the clam taps, we'll go knee to knee, heel to heel, internal rotation to external. Make sure that you still move with control. You're not rotating your hips again, and you're really focusing on keeping that squeeze at the top of your glutes. Nice work. Now we're going to take this into an internally rotated leg lift. Toes to the floor, rotate from the hip joint. From there, keep your hips stacked and then lifting up and lowering to tap the toes. Make sure, same rule applies. We're not going to be over rotating the hips here. We're going to keep everything stacked and controlled and focus on the squeeze with every rep that you press upward. Next up, we have hot potato. Come into this long-legged side lying position. Your bottom leg is slightly forward and then begin tapping the toes forward, rotating heel behind you. So again, here is hip rotation, controlling the hips staying stacked. Making sure that we're utilizing those side glutes to control this movement and really focusing on that squeeze as we lift above and tap behind. Nice work for that left side. Let's go ahead and take this into a pigeon stretch. Take the left leg forward, angled at about 45 degrees. Go ahead and lift the back knee to begin. Hold your position, press down through the left shin. Take a few breaths here and then lower the rear knee, taking your back toes untucked and body weight forward. Breathing and holding. All right, let's go ahead and position ourselves to do the right leg. Starting with our clam exercise, supporting our head, knees are bent, heels are together behind our hips here. And starting with this first exercise, remember hips stay stacked throughout our series. We're gonna lift the knee up, squeeze the top and lower down. Try not to over rotate, keep everything nice and in line. Great job. Next we have our clam raise. We're taking the whole leg up, adding more of this hip rotation in the process, keeping those hips really stacked. Again, we're just doing 10 reps of each of these positions here, focusing on the squeeze at the top of each rep. Nice work. You should be feeling some burn here on this right side. Let's go into our clam taps, heel to heel and knee to knee. Remember, you are rotating in the air and you're keeping those hips stacked to create that rotation from the hip joint without using that spine or lumbar. Make sure that you're feeling that squeeze at the top and controlling those taps. Next up, we've got the internally rotated leg lifts. Toes are forward. Notice my thighs are stacked here and I'm rotating from my hip joint. From there, heel to ceiling, tap the toes. Think about that squeeze at the top of each of your reps here without rotating our hips. Here we go for the hot potato. Go ahead and go internal to external. Rotate in the air. Keep those hips controlled as you create that rotation, and think about how much you can really squeeze that muscle on the side of your glutes here as you create this motion. Nice work. Let's go ahead and take this right leg into an active pigeon. Back toes tucked under, knees elevated, pressure into the front shin. Holding here, and then you're going to lower down onto your forearms, breathing further into this pigeon stretch before we continue. Great job. You can take it into a child's pose here before we continue for our second round. All right, second round. Here we go for the left side again. We're back to the clam exercise. Get your shape organized, and then from there, we're just going to lift the knee to begin, squeeze the top and lower down. Move slow again, reconnect with this muscle for the left side, and make sure every rep counts. Next up, we've got the clam raise. So the entire leg comes up in that bent knee position and we get to rotate even further. So lifting, squeezing, keeping those hips stacked with each rep here. Great job. Next up, we've got the clam taps. So we've got this internal knee to knee and then external heel to heel. Let's go ahead and move with control. Don't move fast and keep those hips really, really quiet throughout each of these movements. Next up, here we go for the internal lifts, toes face down, rotate from the hip joint again, lift the heel up, squeeze the top, and tap those toes. Keep going here, slow and controlled, 10 reps. Next up, we've got hot potato. Bring the leg up to hip height, tap the toes, tap the heel. Think of rotating in the air with lots of control, both direction, toes to heel. Great job. Let's take that into an active pigeon for the left side. Your second round is done for that side. Take a moment here, give your body what it needs. Lower the back knee, arms come down, few breaths before we start the right side. Okay, let's come on back to this clam exercise. Same setup here, lots of control, lots of squeeze. We know what we're doing here. Right leg, we're just gonna lift that knee, squeeze the top and lower down. Again, make each of these reps count, even though you're fatiguing a little bit in that muscle group. Next up, let's take this into the clam raise. We're gonna lift the leg up and lower down, squeezing the glute at the top. Remember that leg stays in the same bent knee. We don't let it lengthen out or kick it out to the side. Keep that shape as you lift and lower. Great job. Let's go ahead and continue with our clam taps. We've got the internal rotation to external. Again, just keep those hips stacked. You're almost done. 10 reps here. Here we go for the internal lifts. Let's stack our thighs here, move from the hip joint, toes face down, lift up with that heel, squeeze the top and tap those toes. 10 reps here, you're doing great, almost done. Here we go for our hot potato on the right side. From hip height, tap toes, tap heel. Rotate in the air and keep that leg nice and long. Try to push some energy through that foot as you create your rotations. Great work. Let's go ahead and finish with your pigeon stretch for this right side. Active pigeon, knee off the ground. Hold for a few breaths here, pressing through the right shin, and then lowering your back knee down, coming down towards the floor. taking a moment here, settling into this pigeon stretch. Fantastic work. I hope you enjoyed each of these progressions from the basic clam exercise, adding more rotation, giving you more connection within your hip joint, as well as building further mobility. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. If you like this channel, go ahead and make sure to subscribe. There's tons of other follow-alongs like this on here. Thanks so much and have a great day.